Welcome to the Bliss Builders podcast, a podcast about mental health
and personal growth
with Kristina
and Sandra Diebel.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bliss Builders podcast. Today, we're going to talk about negative belief systems and how they have influenced us over the course of our lives, how we have transmuted those limiting belief systems, and how we think about them now. And in our last episode, Sandra interviewed me, and today I am going to interview Sandra. So let's get right into it. What negative belief system influenced you the most over the years?
I would say this was definitely a belief I am fat, and because of that, I am unattractive. So this was definitely one that had a big influence over my whole life, I would say.
Mm-hmm. What do you believe caused it?
That started very, very early, actually in primary school, I would say, where, yeah, I think everyone knows it. Yes, I was definitely not the slimmest. But it was not that bad. But anyway, you know how children are, and there are some comments or some actions, etc. And yeah, this makes you feel disconnected with the others and gives you, over time, when you hear it over and over again, definitely not a good feeling. And it was not that bad in primary school so far, as I still was more or less popular, but then I changed school for high school, and I was the only one that was from another school. Like, there were two villages where half of the class was out of this village and half of the class was out of this village, or the schools out of those villages, and I was the only one from somewhere else, so I didn't know anyone, but they knew each other. And so it was hard for me actually to connect with people in the beginning. And yeah, there it definitely continued with some bullying, I would say. And over the years, it was definitely something that made me also harder, let's say that. Because yeah, a lot of things you swallow over time. But at the same time, I had the feeling I have to balance it out somehow. So if you're
What do you mean with balancing it out?
Balancing out, I mean, I had to believe I'm unattractive, I'm not beautiful, and all the others are. So with this, it also comes, I'm not cool. I don't belong to them. I'm not part of the group. No one would like to ask me out or something, you know. I don't deserve to be with one that would be beautiful or attractive. So this also caused some, yeah, loneliness a little bit. And I had in my head, okay, I know I'm not beautiful, or this is definitely not my strength, but I can be good in something else. And so this was definitely the start, I would say, for some career-driven mindset, or also being a little bit extraordinary. So the little extra, who knows me, is kind of my signature, and this was probably where it started. So I had the feeling, okay, to be successful, to be something, to, you know, get recognized attention, actually, I have to find another niche. And this was actually what I did in the end and developed over a period of time.
So would you say that is how it has influenced you, that belief, that you then looked for other ways to be of value to the world?
Yes, it was definitely the fundamental of that. I would say so. Nowadays, when I look back on it, is it felt for me, if you are beautiful and slim, everything is easier and everything comes to you way easier. Is you're more popular, you get more included in the group, you maybe get a better job, etc. Those things. And so yeah, I definitely had the feeling, okay, I have to find my own way to do it a little bit differently. And this continued, I would say, over the years. So it definitely influenced me within relationships. Also, what was between these relationships, and more or less in my career way as well, like I said, with trying to find another way to balance it out.
How long would you say have you carried that negative belief system?
Probably until 22.
Okay.
Year 2020. So not 22. So that was,
Okay.
I don't know, 2022. No, 2020. There was a big change for me, actually.
Okay. So not until you were 22, but
no,
literally
longer. That was sadly a
years
little bit
ago.
longer.
Okay.
Yeah,
And if you look back on it, what do you think it was all influenced by?
Yeah, heaps of things. Is my self-confidence actually was very less. So I was able to build it up in the business part of my life quite good and quite early, because I also did it a little bit differently there. So that was absolutely fine. But the personal part, about myself, I had doubts in that for a very long time. And yeah, for example, I remember the first, because I was in relationships most of the time since my adolescence, but I had one gap after my second one, after a very long one, where I, let's say, tried a few things out and enjoyed the single life a little bit the first time. But when I look back on that, I can definitely say that I still was not fine with myself and with my body. And I was accepting some treatments, let's say, how people treated me or men treated me, or the type of man. I would definitely don't pick anymore nowadays. But it was a little bit of my, I thought it would give me a kind of a confidence boost, some attention. Actually, is when you're not that confident in yourself, you kind of take what you get. If I look back on this a little bit.
Yeah. So how would you say has the belief system changed with time?
I actually made, let's say, 2 or nowadays 3 major changes that
Mhm.
turned everything a little bit upside down. So it was 2020 when I think the start was actually, well, let's start probably there. I had for a very long time a lot of jealousy and envy in me. So like, oh, this person is so beautiful. Oh, this person is so classy. This person, they're so much better than me, or I would like to be like them. And this actually really doesn't make you feel good if you have this in you the whole time. So this also makes you believe that you're not that worthy, or that how you are at the moment is not that good. And I always had the thought, oh, I would like to be like them, but I can't be like them, especially as I'm not thin. As they look
Okay.
good, they're stylish, they are classy, etc. Everyone wants to be with them, and I had this belief in my head that this is very tight connected with a nice figure actually. And 2020, or actually 2019, like 2 months before, so a little bit before Corona, I think I already had this ambition in me that I really now need to change somehow and stop this envy, and take responsibility for myself. And I think it was my father who started first, as he was at rehab and started to lose a couple of kilos, and like the whole family was always a little bit more. And this made it click somehow in my head, where I thought, oh, okay, when he can do it after such a long lifetime, I must be able to do it as well. It's just this bloody consistency where I had some problems with, and I finally did it. And I went to the gym nearly every day, went on the step machine, or a little bit of running, etc. Some workouts. I looked after what I eat. I canceled sugar as good as possible. In the beginning, I think completely. And I was really consistent with that. Where Corona actually helped me is our working hours were getting reduced because of Corona, and we had home office. And this actually gave me a lot more time, a lot more time to do the exercises, to, cook every day, and to cook healthy, and to research, etc. So it gave me really more time, and I'm really talking about hours during the day that I can focus on myself. I mean, when it came to this point, I already had some success before, but it made it a little bit easier, let's say that, because it takes a lot of time. It is what it is. And so I lost some kilos, and I thought, okay, now I actually gonna take everything I want and get myself everything I want. So I had a thought about what would I be like? What would I want to be like? And then I changed it into this direction. So I thought, okay, I want to have a nice clean look, a classy look. And when you're
Mhm.
slimmer, it's also easier to get a little bit of stylish clothes. And for example, at this time I was working. Was it still at this time? No, it was before, but I was working at the Wine and Spa Resort in marketing. 4-star superior, so more a bit upper class, and everyone was dressed very nicely the whole time. Also my boss, and she was kind of a role model for me in this
Mhm.
time, as she was very elegant, and I wanted to be that as well. Very classy, eloquent as well, more calm actually. What else? Yeah, I was actually everything. The whole look actually changed. I went to the waxing. I dyed my hair. I went to the dentist to do my teeth because they were a little bit wrinkly still after a couple of years. I had the, what is it called? I don't know. What do you put?
Braces?
Yeah, exactly, the braces. I went shopping for some new clothes. I went to the office then with high heels. I was more in the business style, and it actually changed also my attitude so much, and it gave me so much confidence. Really, also
Mhm.
this time, I think it was also this time where I started to look a little bit more into communication, rhetoric, mindset, and those stuff. So it was also how to express yourself, and how to
Mhm.
understand things. And yeah, I actually made all these steps to become the person I wanted to be,
Mhm.
or I would admire, and it actually worked. So it was, I think, which first was it? 2020 in July. I think I had my kind of my high, something.
Mhm.
So what was it? I think it was 18 kilos or something I've lost, and yeah, nicely dressed and everything. And like I said, it gave me so much confidence where I nowadays, I'm, for example, not always dressed that classy anymore, or my hair is not blonde anymore. So a lot of things
Mhm.
changed again already, and little bit into, I don't know if I should say the other direction, but it changed again. But
Mhm.
I'm way more okay with it, and this is
Mhm.
because I would say I had reached what I wanted in between, and
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
gave me the boost and the stability and the security and the self-confidence and the self-love I needed at this time. And now I have this in me, kind of, where
Mhm.
I don't need to get it from the outside, or also
Yeah.
not
Mhm.
a look. So even if I am in my garden clothes or whatever, I feel way more confident as I was, let's say, 6 years ago. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah, so this was actually the major point. And I nearly forgot. I probably also have to say, maybe a bit uncommon, but I had a plastic surgery with 18 where I did my boobs. I say it now to the whole world, but this actually gave me a fucking bit confidence boost. Is I
Mhm.
haven't done it for anyone else. It's not that someone complained, etc., or I wanted to impress or whatever, but it was literally as, yeah, I never was that skinny. So I always, had a little bit of a figure at least, and I had hips, but I haven't had boobs. So I thought, yeah, somehow it doesn't fit together. At least it's okay if it's a bit more, if it's round, whatever, but at least I wanted it to kind of fit. And yeah, I had a bit, I got a little bit of money from parents, grandma, etc. after school, after I finished, and I invested it in myself, let's say that. And it was, yeah, not less money, but I would definitely do it again, as this helped me also a lot at this time. So, you know, the reasons are probably different for many people, but I would say if it helps you, if this makes you more confident, and probably later you say, okay, I would not need it, but at the moment, yeah, I definitely can understand that and relate to that. So yeah, this first one when I was 18, and the second big one where I also got a big boost out of the circumstance that I was able to do it, at least, because I always had doubts in myself and said, it's too hard, or etc. And I tried, you know, to lose weight a couple of times, but it never came into fruition. But I was so fucking proud of myself that I did it in the end, and I did all the things I wanted. And so it doesn't matter if someone says, yeah, but you're still chubby, or, you know, you could lose 10 kilos more, I think, or whatever. I say, yeah, you.
Yeah.
But I felt so proud of myself, and I still am. And yeah, so these were probably my important ones. And also now here in Australia, I would say it was also a new experience for me, as I broke up with my boyfriend very shortly after I came here, because of other reasons. It's more future alignment, but it broke my heart for a couple of weeks. But at the same time, I was the first time single in my life with self-confidence and being fine with my body. And yeah, like I had 2 single periods so far, bigger ones in my life. And the first one was in my early 20s, where I would say I probably made some, I wouldn't say mistakes, I learned. Let's say I learned because of that. And then I had it now for a couple of months, and I would lie if I would say I didn't enjoy it. And, you know, a little bit of flirting, and I've been with men in between, and it was such a difference. And it was amazing for me to see how this changed over years. And also actually the reaction of the men were also very interesting, as they started to mention by themselves, wow, it's so amazing how confident you are, and this is very attractive, this is very sexy. I was like, okay, interesting. But yeah, self-love and self-confidence is very attractive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these were my biggest changing points, I would say.
So would you say through those experiences that like your negative belief system dissolved? Or would you say something else was the reason? Like, what would you say dissolved your negative belief system?
What dissolved my negative belief system were, yeah, exactly these 3 things. First, my plastic surgery, doing my boobs, so my body fits a little bit better together. The second one was where I actually changed my life, 2020, and became the person I wanted to be. Lost weight, became more classy, eloquent, calm, and now my time abroad, where I experienced myself, where I experienced myself completely different and completely new with this self-confidence and with this self-love, were actually my biggest turning points.
Okay. So how do you think about that belief system today?
I hated it when I was younger. And, you know, I was in such a victim role for a very long time. It was definitely not a nice feeling, not a nice time. I don't want to go back to my childhood. It was not that bad. Yeah, there were so many worse, but yeah, it's definitely not that I would like to get back to school. But in the end, if I reflect on that, it seems like there was a reason for it, as it made me to the person I am today. It made me strong. It made me learn a lot of things about myself. It made me extraordinary, special, full of power and the will to show my strength. Doesn't matter where they are. And yeah, it was definitely a booster for my passions or my business way, let's say that. So it would be hard for me to say if I had the chance to, you know, decide if I would like to have it or not, if I would do it or not. Maybe I would, because yeah, it was a tough time for me at this stage, and it also caused some loneliness for me and some lonely feelings, but it made me learn so much and actually be very glad for what I have and where I am now.
It kind of made you made you who you are right now.
Exactly. And yeah, I'm quite satisfied with myself nowadays. So,
Okay, if you would summarize your biggest learnings that you had over the years with that belief system, maybe with belief systems in general, how would you summarize it?
my biggest learnings. Probably my biggest learnings about belief systems would be that there is a reason for everything. Even if you don't know it yet, you're probably going to find out in the future. At the time you're going through, you probably don't realize how much it influences you, or it will influence you, and how many sectors of your life actually. What else? Learnings. Personally, I have the feeling that I had to go through all that, and also some not that good experiences, that I kind of learned my lesson. As we talked yesterday about it when we recorded that episode, is you're maybe more tool-orientated person, or you can get a lot out of tools, techniques, where I always struggle with that. And I found my learnings through life, actually, and through some experience I've been through. And also, of course, to be interested in the topic and communication mindset and those things. I think without any awareness about that, it would also not come to this point. But if you're aware and interested in that and a little bit of psychology, then you probably come to quite similar conclusions. Another big learning is how attractive self-confidence actually is, and how people how much you attract people with that. As it's actually also the same for me, if you think about it opposite, as I'm very attracted to people that are self-confident. And also when I think about speakers, the ones that are, very secure on the stage and know what they want to say, they don't have to read any text, etc., and standing there taking room. That's also the way you stand. That's also a very interesting thing that can make so much with your mind. If you just get your shoulders back, chest out, be straight, take your room, that can affect already a lot. And so it doesn't matter if it's male or female. I find this very attractive when someone is that confident. So it's kind of a little bit of a copy and paste thing.
Okay, but like, why can't one, or why couldn't you be confident despite being fat, as you said when you were younger? Because like you can have a certain body weight, but why did that in your mind restrict you from being confident, for example?
That is true, absolutely. In my head, it was the way you should be, kind of from everyone else is slim in magazines, in TV, etc. And when I was younger, I'm very happy that there was not that much social media, but there were Germany's Next Top Models, for example. There were an In Touch magazine and that kind of stuff. And the beauty standard that is communicated, or was at this time, now it's a little bit more loosey again, was actually very slim. And you are attractive and you are beautiful when you have this kind of look and this body weight. And
Okay, so
I was influenced through that quite a lot.
Okay, so for you, confidence and looks are connected. You can't be confident even though you don't look a certain part.
At this time, no. I really had troubles with that. Maybe if I would have focused on that part to really love myself more, maybe, I don't know. I had this belief in my head that if I would be slim, everything would be fine for a very, very long time, and everything would solve itself.
Okay, so for a long time, it's kind of like the excuse for a lot of things in a weird way. Kind of like, because it is kind of like a mental block where it's just like all focused on one thing, is like, when that is solved, everything will be solved. Which I think is something that like all of us have in certain regards. It's the same thing like with, if I have that money, then everything will be solved. If I have this little thing, everything will be solved. And not realizing that it's just a tiny part of all the things. But
Exactly.
as we can see in your example, it kind of did dissolve a lot of things through that
Yeah,
experience.
true. And I reckon there would be several different ways, to do it.
Mhm.
Actually, mine was in the end through losing a few kilos, but at the same time, I also changed so many other things, like the whole look and the whole appearance, the
Mhm.
whole way, yeah, I presented myself. And so this was like a kind of a whole package exchange. So I can't say if it was only because of that. But now this comes to my mind. What I actually can say is that when I lost the first few kilos, this actually gave me so much power, yeah, such a
Mhm.
confidence boost, and the thing, I can finally, I can. I thought I can't for such a long time, but
Mhm.
hell yeah, I can. And
Mhm.
watch me, I will, you know, kind of an in your face thing. And I was so fucking proud of
Yeah.
myself that I finally, because I failed so many times before, and finally I did it, and it felt okay. Wow, now the door is open. The door is open to
Mhm.
everything, and if I can do that, I also can do that, and I can do that, and I can do that, and
Mhm.
there's nothing that stops me anymore. So this was actually this little tiny first step that gave me the boost and the will and the strength and the power to say, I'll do it.
Mhm.
No excuses.
But what would you say? Because like you've been talking about that you've tried before and it did not work. Like, in your case, losing weight and stuff. What changed? What did you do differently?
The will, I think. Very strong will
Okay.
to really do it.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, it's always the recipe consistency.
Okay.
Because
So
this
what
was
did you
also
do?
very hard for me to overcome. Stay consistent.
Okay, what did you do before then?
You mean what I tried before?
Yeah.
uh, that's a good question. I mean, this was very in my very childhood. I remember one time with some shakes. My mom started that, where you
Mm-hmm.
replace meals with shakes. Um, then there was another sport thing, was Miss Sporty was called. So you have like a little bit more of a older women sports thing where you have some exercises in a circle in
Mm-hmm.
in a group, but you can join every time. But somehow, I don't know, there was I didn't saw such difference. But what is actually, when I look back, not such a surprise is I changed my way of eating to less, I reckon, and also, yeah, food. So what you actually eat, stop the sugar at things. When I was a child, I was not drinking water. I was drinking some juices the whole time. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
that's heaps of sugar, and I didn't eat much vegetable. So that's also a big difference. And actually, because I was raised up with this kind of food,
Mm-hmm.
and living alone, living by myself, actually gave me so much more possibilities to change that, as well as, of course, you can do it when you have others around, but then my mom cooked mostly dinner, or that you share it in the end, and they would like to have something differently, whatever. So it makes it a little bit more difficult is when you just look after yourself.
Yeah. So you basically tried as a kid, then didn't try pretty much until like 2020 or 2019. Do I get that
think,
right?
I'm not. I definitely tried it in between, in
Mhm.
my teenage years. I think I started a bit of running there. And what else? I definitely tried it a couple of times in between, but yeah, this consistency and reducing enough that you really lose weight, or burning enough calories that you lose weight, because that's the only possibility to lose weight actually. If you burn more calories than you use than you
Mhm.
need, that's the calorie difference. It's not more or less. All the other stuff is about health, being healthy. That's something you can lose. Yeah, it's a little bit of two sectors, but I can't tell you anymore exactly what I tried. But yeah, this strong will, and actually a little bit of the role model of my dad,
Mhm.
that he was able to finally do it, and this big envy in me that I would like to be like that,
Mhm.
that was finally big enough to make me change it.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners?
Mm, Probably what you teased before, that self-confidence doesn't only occur when you are slim or when you are what other things are beautiful. Definitely not. And I have the biggest respect to everyone who is able to manage that from the beginning. It was just my
Mhm.
way and my way of thinking, or also how kids, the other kids, society, etc., trained my brain of the time.
Mhm.
But yeah, heads off for everyone who can manage that from the beginning. And please find your self-confidence however it suits you. There is not a right or wrong, and it doesn't have
Mhm.
to be with losing weight, or I don't know, putting some makeup on, etc. As yeah, it helped me for a couple of, well, to build up a specific level of confidence, where I now see, okay, that's probably not completely me, or this is a part of me, and I really like to jump on that. Like when I met you, you got me back into that a little bit, and that actually that's nice.
Mhm.
I enjoyed that, but I don't need it the whole time, and that's fine for me, And having different looks, different areas, that's absolutely fine. And it just took me a while to get there, but yeah, that's was actually a very important learning for me. And self-confidence is the fucking key. And self-love.
Yeah. As I always say, at the base of everything. Okay, would you like to end this episode with sharing the information about where our followers can follow us and listen and join us?
I would love to do that. So to all our listeners, it would be amazing if you just follow us on Spotify, on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you're gonna find us, and rate us with 5 stars, comment, share, whatever you want to do with our episodes. You can't really throw it into the bin, or you take your phone and throw it in there, but we hope you don't want to, as you enjoyed this episode or other episodes, and that we're gonna that you're gonna see us, or at least hear us, the next time. All right.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, thanks for listening.
Thank you.